Bgmc. The biblical truth lives here.
We are living in a time like no other in history, but fortunately for us, God wrote it all down in His prophecies. Find out what prophecies happened this week ripped straight from the headlines. Stay tuned for the Prophecy Headlines News Show on the Remnant's Call.
For the Remnant's Call, End Time Prophecy. News. Everybody, da 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 da. Da, 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 da. Here's the news from Israel. The first news story.
La primera historia es esta.
There you see a lovely kite.
Ahí puedes ver un cometa, una chichigua.
The Palestinians are into flying kites.
Una chichigua.
Okay? But at the end of that, that's not orange.
Los palestinos están volando estas cometas, pero eso que ve ahí, eso no es realmente naranja.
That's not an orange tail, people.
Eso no es una cola naranja.
That's something on fire.
Eso es algo que está encendido en llamas.
These idiot little animals
Estos pequeños animales
wait till the wind blows towards Israel.
esperan que el viento vuele hacia Israel.
They fly their kites
Ellos vuelan sus cometas.
over. As you see, there's trees beyond the wall over there.
Como pueden ver, esos árboles están cerca del muro.
Okay, that's Israel.
Eso ahí es Israel.
So what the kid is going to do is fly the kite that way,
Lo que el niño va a hacer es volar su cometa hacia ese lugar,
towards those trees.
cerca de esos árboles.
And he wants to get his kite stuck in the tree
Y él quiere que su cometa se reviente y caiga en los árboles.
because he wants to set Israel on fire because they're animals.
Porque quieren que Israel se encienda en llamas porque ellos son animales.
I think Israel should have snipers
Yo creo que Israel debería tener snipers,
or just regular army guys that are target practicing.
francotiradores o cualquier persona secular con un buen entrenamiento.
What if somebody were to do that to your house?
¿Qué sucedería si alguien hiciera eso con tu
What
casa?
would you do?
¿Qué tú hicieras?
And the world is saying they're bad, Israel's bad.
Y el mundo está diciendo que Israel es malo.
Tell them to go to Sheol.
Mándalo a ellos al infierno.
Because that's what they're following.
Eso es lo que ellos están siguiendo.
This is not proper neighborly behavior.
Eso no es una actitud apropiada de un vecino.
I want to set your house on fire. That's the kind of neighbor I want.
Yo quisiera que tu casa se encendiera. Ese sería el vecino que quiero.
Going on to the next news story about Israel.
Esta otra historia sobre Israel.
Oscar, David, the Prime Minister of Israel,
El primer ministro de Israel
is going to Guatemala in November.
va para Guatemala en
The
noviembre.
Jews are going to Guatemala.
Los judíos van para Guatemala.
They're going to probably try to throw him in the volcano.
Quizás van a cogerlo y van a tirarlo en el volcán.
Okay, so he's going in November because Guatemala was the second embassy to go to Jerusalem.
Ellos van el primer ministro va en noviembre hacia Guatemala y porque Guatemala fue el segundo país en favor de poner la embajada allá.
He might also go to some other Latin American countries in Central America.
Quizás visite otros países de Centroamérica también.
Going on to, it's the first time in 69 years that a Prime Minister of Israel is going to Latin America.
Es la primera vez que en 69 años que el primer ministro visita Latinoamérica.
Okay, he went there once, now he's going again.
Él visitó una vez y ahora va a regresar.
I guess he likes the Latin food.
Creo que le gusta la comida latina.
Going on to the next news story about Israel.
Esta otra historia desde allá, esta noticia de
There you see the
Israel.
Prime Minister
Ahí puedes ver el primer ministro
and the leader of the Propeller Society.
y el líder de la sociedad Propeller.
Okay, the government might fall.
Sorry?
The government might collapse.
El gobierno pueda que colapse.
The Jews, the Orthodox Jews, do not want to serve in the military because they're lazy.
Los judíos religiosos no quieren ingresar al ejército porque son vagos.
They're lazy cowards.
Son unos cobardes vagos.
In the scriptures, the Kohanim led the army in battle.
En las escrituras, el Kohanim, el sacerdote, era el líder del comando en la batalla.
They carried the Ark of the Covenant. Remember, they wanted
And Moses said, no, you can't take it this time. You were bad.
Ellos cargaban el arca en medio de la batalla.
But these guys don't want to join the army.
Pero esos sujetos no quieren unirse al ejército.
It is our job to be in the Israeli military.
Es realmente nuestro trabajo estar siendo parte del ejército
It is our
israelí.
honor.
Sería un honor.
So the government might collapse because Benjamin Netanyahu needs their 6 seats.
Y quizás colapse el gobierno porque Benjamín Netanyahu necesita ese apoyo.
Understand in Israel, they have more than 2 parties.
Entienden que en Israel tienen aún más de 2 partidos.
I think they have at least 8 different parties.
Creo que tienen por lo menos unos 8 partidos.
And you have to form a coalition to make a government.
Y necesitas una coalición para formar el gobierno.
So keep Benjamin Netanyahu in prayer so he can visit Guatemala.
Así que mantenga al primer ministro en oración, así pueda visitar Guatemala.
Okay, now, why is the world going through so many problems?
¿Por qué el mundo está pasando todos esos problemas?
Because Israel is not being righteous. Look at this story, everybody.
Porque Israel no está siendo justo y mire toda esta historia.
They're going to make a bill in the government, Darwin.
Van a hacer esta ley en el gobierno.
You know, it's going to be a very interesting bill.
Esta ley va a ser muy interesante.
They have such a problem with prostitution in Israel.
Tienen tanto problema con la prostitución allá en Israel.
Specifically, the biggest problem is the wonderful city of Tel Aviv.
Y nada más y nada menos, este problema se está siendo afectado mucho más en Tel Aviv.
So what they're going to do is anybody that goes to a prostitute, if they're caught,
y lo que van a hacer es que todos los que sean atrapados en este sitio de prostitución,
they're not going to arrest them.
no lo van a arrestar.
They're going to fine them.
Le van a poner una multa.
And 3,000 shekels is a lot of money in Israel.
Y unos 3,000 shekels son mucho dinero en Israel.
First time, it's going to be 1,500.
La primera vez era unos 1,500 shekels.
Second time, it's going to be 3,000.
Y la segunda vez va a ser unos 3,000.
Third time, it's going to be 14,000.
Y la tercera vez que sea arrestado va a ser una fianza o una multa de 14,000
does
shekels.
not say we can fornicate.
Sorry?
God says we cannot
El
fornicate.
Señor Dios ha dicho no debes fornicar.
Prostitution is fornication.
Prostitución es fornicación.
Okay, so this is why Israel's going to get smacked by God and the world is going to get smacked by God because of Israel.
Por eso es que el mundo va a ser golpeado porque Israel también va a ser golpeado por no estar haciendo lo que Dios quiere.
Going on to the next news story, anti-Semitism this week.
Noticias antisemíticas.
The first anti-Semitism story.
Esa primera noticia antisemítica.
There you see England. The picture is a graveyard in England.
Esa fotografía que ves ahí fue tomada en Inglaterra.
The animal Muslims
Estos animales musulmanes
destroyed 30 headstones of the Jews
destruyeron esas tumbas en Israel.
in Manchester, England.
Destruyeron esas tumbas en judías en Inglaterra.
Okay? So even in death, the Muslims still hate the Jews.
Incluso cuando los judíos están muertos, los musulmanes odian a los judíos.
Going on to the next anti-Semitism story is very big, everybody. Please pay attention.
Presten mucha atención, esta segunda noticia antisemítica es bien fuerte.
Denmark is considering banning circumcision.
Dinamarca está considerando en abolir lo que es la circuncisión.
So if the Jews, remember this happened in the dead period between the Old Testament and the New Testament.
Recuerda que eso sucedió en el tiempo muerto entre el Antiguo y Nuevo Testamento.
When Antiochus Epiphanes forbid the Jews to circumcise their sons.
Cuando Antíoco Epifanio prohibió circuncidar a los niños.
And if you circumcise your son,
Y si circuncidabas a tu hijo,
they would kill the baby
ellos asesinaban el bebé
and hang it around the mother's neck until it rotted off the mother.
y lo colocaban en el cuello de la madre hasta que se pudriera.
Okay? So this is a sign, everybody,
Eso es una señal
that God is calling home his people.
de que el Señor está llamando de vuelta a casa a su gente.
Okay? Going on to the next news story. Let's look at the prophecy news. End time prophecy. Speaking of circumcision,
Y hablando de circuncisión, Oh,
Going on to the next news story.
esa otra historia.
The first news story is all nations against Israel.
Esta otra historia es todas las naciones en contra de Israel.
In Zechariah 12, verse 2 and 3,
En Zacarías 12, versículos 2 y
everybody
3.
welcome Gino, the newest member of the family.
Amén.
Yay, he's alive.
Él está vivo.
Everybody walk up to him and go, how are you doing?
Amén.
So if he's sweating, you go, do you want some wine?
Si está sudando, por favor, bríndale un poco de vino.
He's wearing a red shirt.
Está utilizando una camisa
All
roja.
right, back to the prophecy news.
De vuelta a las noticias
Zechariah
proféticas.
12, verse 2 and 3 talks about every nation against Israel.
Y en Zacarías 12, versículos 2 y 3 habla de todas las naciones en contra de Israel.
In the United Nations this week,
Y esa semana las Naciones Unidas
they condemn Israelis' excess force against the Palestinians.
condenaron a Israel por abuso excesivo en Palestina.
If 10,000 Russians were coming towards the Poland border, what do you think the Polish army would do?
Si unas 10,000 polacos se acercaran a Rusia, ¿qué usted cree que los rusos harían?
If 10,000 Spaniards
Si unos 10,000 españoles
were going towards the French border, what do you think the French would do?
se acercaran a la frontera de Francia, ¿qué usted cree que
I surrender.
que los franceses harían? Amén. Pretty sure.
That's how the French fight a war. They say, I surrender.
Así que los franceses pelean la batalla, se
But
rinden.
here, Zechariah 12 is coming forward.
Pero en Zacarías 12 está acercando y se está acercando mucho.
120 countries voted against Israel.
Unos 120 países votaron en contra de Israel.
I say Israel should just open fire.
Lo que creo que Israel debería solamente es abrir fuego.
Because in their own videos, the Palestinians said they want to go kill the Israelis.
Porque en nuestros propios videos podemos ver cómo los palestinos se quieren ir y matar a los
If you don't
israelíes.
understand, that's a declaration of war.
Y si no entiendes esto, ya es una declaración de guerra.
Make it 73 up front. Going on to the next news story.
Entonces, historia.
Amos chapter 8, verse 11.
En Amós 8, versículo 11,
It talks about a famine of the word.
hablan de una hambruna de la palabra.
Going on to the news story.
En esta noticia.
If you don't like our lessons here,
Si no te gusta nuestra enseñanza de
and you
aquí
think they're too long,
y usted cree que es demasiado larga,
you can pretty much go to every other church and synagogue.
puedes ir a otra congregación o sinagoga.
The average sermon length is only 36 minutes.
Y el averaje de tiempo de los servicios son de 36 minutos.
The news here is longer than 36 minutes.
Solamente las noticias aquí son mayores de 36 minutos.
Imagine going to a congregation. Has anybody ever been there?
Y ¿han estado en otras congregaciones
Where the lesson was only a half hour long.
donde las enseñanzas son simplemente una media hora?
Wow.
Me impresiona.
I can't even imagine that. Even our synagogue was over an hour.
Ni siquiera eso me impresiona. La sinagoga solamente era una hora.
The average length was 36 minutes.
Y el averaje de tiempo son 36 minutos. Es
Going on to the
impresionante.
next slide. Proverbs 29 verse 18 talks about a society without Jehovah.
Y en Proverbios 29:18 habla de la sociedad sin Dios.
Let's see what's going on in America.
Vamos a ver qué está sucediendo en Estados Unidos.
The federal house in Washington
La Casa Federal en Washington
passed 25 new bills
pasó unas 25 leyes nuevas,
helping states with people that have drug problems.
ayudando a, por ejemplo, el estado de una persona que tiene abuso de drogas.
We have in 2016, look at that number.
En 2016
There was over 42,000 people that died from opioid overdoses.
hubieron unas 42,000 personas que murieron por abuso del opio. Una sobredosis de opio, 42,000.
This is a society without God.
Eso es lo que es una sociedad sin Dios.
Because what's the common factor?
Porque ¿cuál es el factor común?
What
de
have
esto?
we removed from society?
Que hemos movido de la sociedad.
We can't talk about God.
Ya no podemos hablar de
We
Dios.
can't pray in public
No
to
podemos,
God.
no podemos orar en público a Dios.
So this is the fruit of what is going on.
Estos son los frutos de lo que está sucediendo.
Going on to the next news story about this.
En esta noticia,
This story I found amazing.
Esa noticia la he encontrado fascinante.
talking about a nation without God.
Hablando de una nación sin Dios.
There were two stories this week
Hubieron dos noticias en esa semana
where the Department of Justice at the federal level is suing towns around the country.
donde la Corte Federal está demandando ciudades por haciendo demanda en contra de ellas.
Because they're blocking religious organizations such as churches and synagogues
Porque están haciéndole un bloqueo a las
from opening
grupos religiosos como iglesias y sinagogas,
from opening up church buildings.
como por ejemplo abriendo esos edificios.
They
de
stopped
iglesias.
one Chabad organization from buying land.
Ya detuvieron a la asociación de Chabad para que no compraran un terreno.
Chabad wanted to buy this piece of land. That's the Jewish or Orthodox Jews.
Es, un grupo de ortodoxos de judíos que son Chabad que quisieron comprar un terreno.
The government claimed, oh, that's eminent domain.
Y ellos declararon que era propiedad ya.
Then they tried to buy another piece of land.
Entonces hicieron otra opción de otro lugar.
And the government once again said it's eminent domain, you can't buy it.
Y el gobierno nuevamente dijo, no puedes obtener esta tampoco.
We need to be involved in the government.
Necesitamos estar envuelto en el gobierno.
We need to have believers, followers of Torah inside every level of government.
Y deberíamos de tener creyentes en la Torah en cada departamento del gobierno.
In John 17, the next story, John 17, you're going to be hated for following Yeshua.
Y en esta noticia también vas a ser odiado. En Juan 17:14 vas a ser odiado por seguir a
In
Jesús.
Maryland, the Christians opened a coffee house.
En Maryland los cristianos abrieron un café, un bar.
And
Café.
6 days a week, they sell coffee and pastries and things like that.
Y 6 días a la semana ellos sirven su almuerzo, su café y eso.
But on Sunday, they wanted to close their doors and have church service.
Pero los domingos ellos quieren cerrar sus puertas y tener su servicio de iglesia.
This town in Maryland stopped them
Y la ciudad de Maryland los detuvo.
because it was a church service.
Porque era un servicio de domingo de
This
iglesia.
is where our country has gone, people.
Eso es donde así nuestro país ha llegado.
A famine of the word.
Una hambruna espiritual de la palabra.
Going on to the next news story. Here in Indianapolis,
En Indianápolis,
a Christian was asked to leave a restaurant
a un cristiano se le pidió que saliera del restaurante
because he had a chain with a cross on it.
porque tenía su cadena con una cruz.
Imagine that in this nation.
Imagínense eso en ese país.
What if we were to say a black person couldn't come into our restaurant?
Imagínense si una persona negra va al restaurante.
Well, that would be racist.
Ahí se llamaría
What if-
racismo.
What if we were to say a Jew couldn't go into a restaurant?
Vamos a ver si un judío va si no pudiera en un restaurante.
We don't allow men with beards in a restaurant.
No queremos hombres con barba en el restaurante.
This is where our nation has come, people.
Esto es lo que ha llegado a nuestro país.
Going on to the next news story. Prophecy, in the end of days, evil will be called good and good will be called evil. But Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20.
Y en esa profecía lo malo iba a ser llamado bueno y lo bueno malo, Isaías 5:20.
Going on to the news story.
Esa noticia
They were overjoyed in Ireland.
se estamos regocijando en Irlanda.
The Prime Minister of Ireland had this very big smile.
El primer ministro de Irlanda tenía una gran sonrisa.
He said, now, since the Eighth Amendment has been canceled
Él dijo, ya que el octavo mandamiento ha sido cancelado,
by a vote that said we can have,
ya que la octava enmienda ha sido cancelada,
they're going to force Catholic hospitals to perform abortions.
van a forzar a los hospitales católicos a efectuar abortos.
And they were overjoyed. They were all cheering for this.
Y estaban todos felices y contentos de esto.
Cheering for murder.
Estaban todos regocijándose de los asesinatos.
Going on to the next news story.
En esta otra
Here in
noticia,
California, I can't wait until it falls off into the ocean. California University of California, UFC,
en la Universidad de California
says it's okay for little children to play with other little children's private parts.
están diciendo que estaba bien que los niños pequeños puedan jugar con las partes privadas de otros niños.
So if Kevin wanted to play with Sarah's private parts, they're going to say, it's okay, Dad.
Así que le estaban diciendo si un niño podía jugar con la parte privada de una niña, dijeron que sí podía.
What if he wants to pick his sister's nose?
¿Qué tal si quiere jugar con la nariz de su hermano?
Imagine saying that this is okay.
Imagínense que digan que eso está bien.
This is the country that we're living in right now, everybody.
Ese es el país que estamos viviendo ahora mismo.
Going on to the next news story.
En esta otra noticia,
The mark of the beast.
la marca de la bestia.
You never thought this was going to happen.
Usted nunca pensó que eso iba a acontecer.
We're living in the only time that this prophecy could happen.
Estamos viviendo en el único tiempo donde eso podía ser posible.
News story.
Esta noticia.
Every new Chinese car
Todos los nuevos autos chinos
is going to have a chip in the window.
van a tener un chip en el cristal.
So if you're speeding,
Así que si estás manejando a una gran velocidad,
they're just going to send you the ticket in the mail.
van a enviarte tu multa directamente al correo.
I'm sorry, that windshield got broken. I don't know how that happened.
Oh, lo siento, se me rompió el cristal, no sé cómo aconteció.
But that's coming to America. They're going to have Chinese car imports.
Pero esto viene de Estados Unidos, van a tener autos exportados o importados desde China.
Welcome to the New World Order, everybody.
Bienvenidos al nuevo orden mundial.
So when I tell you that we got to follow God's laws,
Cuando te digo que tenemos que seguir las leyes de Dios,
because God is the only one, if God protects us, then we'll be able to hide from Satan.
porque el Señor es el único que puede conocer, y si seguimos al
Are we able
Señor, vamos a poder escondernos.
Are we able to push back Satan?
Podemos resistir al enemigo.
Why is this happening? Find out in the lesson today.
¿Por qué está pasando esto? Descubre esto en la lección de hoy día.
Next slide. Mental sickness. Amos chapter 8, verse 11 again.
Enfermedades mentales en Amos 8:11.
Going on to mental sickness.
Vamos a esta enfermedad mental.
Look at that robot in the bottom right-hand corner, everybody.
Mire este robot que estamos viendo aquí en la fotografía.
The federal government had to make a law
El gobierno federal hizo una ley
forbidding these sex robots to come into America.
de permitir a estos robots sexuales entrar en el país.
These are not adult sex robots.
Estos no son robots adultos,
They're children sex robots.
son niños, robots con estatura de un niño o de diseño de un niño, pero
The
sexual.
federal government had to make a law.
El gobierno tuvo que hacer una ley.
And you tell me that we need to only follow 5 laws?
Y tú me dices a mí que solo debo seguir 5 leyes. No,
It's all or nothing, everybody.
es todo o nada.
Because when you don't have all, this is what you get.
Porque cuando no tienes todo la ley, esto es lo que sucede.
Imagine that.
Imagínense eso.
A robot that's going to perform sex that looks like a 12-year-old girl.
Un robot que va de ser de servicio sexual para una persona y ese robot tiene como unos 12 años.
And the robot is anatomically correct.
Y el robot es anatomically correct.
It looks like a girl.
Que se ve como una niña de 12 años.
Going on to the next story, well, only 1 or 2 more. Romans 1 verse 24.
Y en esta otra historia, en Romanos 1:24.
One of our videos got taken down because I talked about homosexuality.
Uno de nuestros videos fue quitado del internet porque estuvimos hablando de la
Want to see this
homosexualidad.
great new show that's going to be on YouTube?
¿Quieres ver este nuevo episodio, el show que va a salir en YouTube?
And Netflix, you want to see this great new show?
Y va a salir en Netflix. ¿Quieres ver este show? Este espectáculo.
It's called Baby Drag Queens.
Se llama Baby Drag Queens.
That's what's starting on YouTube. It looks like the Powder Puff Girls.
Y eso va a salir en YouTube. Eso es nuevo.
Right? Doesn't it look like the Powder Puff Girls?
Y se parece a las
Leave it there.
niñas superpoderosas.
Don't get it. Leave it there. It's mine now. Come on, the ushers, come and pick it up and hold on to it till the end of the day. Thank you, sir. Baby Drag Queens will now be on YouTube with RuPaul.
Baby Drag Queen ahora va a estar en YouTube.
So parents, make sure your kids are not watching this garbage.
Así que padres, asegúrense de que sus hijos no estén mirando esta porquería.
And Netflix app is having a show called Super Drags.
Y también Netflix está teniendo un espectáculo que se llama Super Drag.
Super Drags.
Super Drags.
Well, that's all the news we have for today.
Bueno, eso es toda la noticia que tenemos por
Hear
hoy.
more about the news on the next Sledgehammer show.
Y puedes escuchar más de las noticias en el próximo show del martes.
All right. If you're out there
Si estás allá afuera,
on YouTube land,
en la ciudad de YouTube,
I want you to hit first the like button.
quiero que presiones el botón de me gusta.
And if you're out there,
Y si estás ahí,
go to our website,
puedes ir a nuestra página de internet.
bgmctv.org,
Puedes ver en bgmctv.org
and go and hit the doggone donate
y
button.
puedes presionar el botón de donar.
Shalom. My name is Messianic Rabbi Andrew Dinnerman, and I invite you to come to visit our congregation. If you are in the tri-state area, come out and visit with us on Shabbat. We are a congregation of Jews and Gentiles, living as one in the Messiah Yeshua. Bgmc is a place of true worship. The focus never wanders from the Hebraic roots of our faith. Beth Goyim is rooted in the Word of God from Bereshit through to the book of Revelation. Messiah's strong words against man-made tradition are carefully recorded in Matthew 7. That is the reason we only follow the straight-up instructions found in Scripture. Truly, the way, the truth, and the life. If you're looking for a deeper walk with Adonai, come out for our Tuesday evening Bible study called Messianic Torah Time. Come, spend a day with us on any Shabbat. We start at 11 a.m. with the sound of the ancient Hebrew shofar. Next, we offer our King praise and worship in English, Hebrew, and Spanish. After worship, we review the headlines in the previous week's news from around the globe, especially news from the Holy Land, Israel. We don't just list the news headlines as current events, but we comb through the scriptures, searching for clues to understand what they mean, and then to help pinpoint prophetically our current position on Adonai's clock. After digesting all that modern information, we leave the world behind as we journey with our Adonai deep into his eternal word, not with just one or two scriptures, but usually 7 or more scriptures. The spiritual nourishment and the richness of his kingdom become accessible to the ones who share this special time and seek them out. The day does not end there. Because Shabbat is so special to him, there is always so much more that our King desires to share. So instead of separating and leaving, we stay together as a family for potluck lunch and an afternoon study of our King's Word. We close the Shabbat together with the reading of the new week's parashah. That's the Torah portion. Even after those blessings, many of us just can't get enough. So the members bring prepared homemade foods to share while we all enjoy an uplifting movie together. If all that information is not quite enough, you can check out our website where you will find over 200 video teachings and biblical holy day studies. Under Messianic Torah Time, the Hebrew Roots button, you'll discover free studies on many different topics, including PowerPoint slide presentations. If Beth Goyim sounds like a place you'd love to visit, but you live outside the tri-state area, there is still a way to connect with us. We stream live on the internet on Tuesday, Thursday, and Shabbat. The website is www.bethgoyim.org. That's BETHGOYIM.org. Our phone number is 973-338-7800 or 978-2-YESHUA. That's 978, the number 2, Yeshua. Shalom.